Hi, fiends, friends. So, you want to play a tape game, huh? Fantastico! We're gonna have some fun now. Let me tell you a little bit about it. The object of the game is to be the player to win the most money by correctly answering as many of the questions as possible. I'll ask you 10, count 'em, 10 questions per game. When you think you know the answer, press the button. No, not my belly button, silly. Your number button. If you're correctamundo, I'll pay you the bucks. But be careful. If you're wrong, it'll cost you 500 big ones. First, I'll ask you the question, and then I'll tell you to stop the tape. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer the question and then tell you to start the tape. I'll then tell you the correct answer and ask you another question. After 10 questions and answers, stop the tape and count up your money. The person with the most cash gets to buy me dinner. Wins the game. Simple, huh? Well, we'd better get started. Question number 1. Let's start this off easy. If you're floating down the Nile and you see the Sphinx for $3,000, what country are you in? Stop the tape now. It's Egypt for $3,000. And if you don't believe me, ask your mummy. Here's a mummy who always wears a crown. For a royal $4,500, who is the Queen of England? Stop the tape now. The answer is Elizabeth for 4,500 crumpets. You won't find crumpets here, but you'll be up to your neck in croissants. I call them croissants. For $2,000, in what country would you find the city of Paris? Stop the tape now. You'll be shouting wee wee if you said France for 2,000 smackaroos. And while you're in this romantic city for $1,500, what language would you be speaking? Stop the tape now. If you said Italian, you should be deported. It's French, of course, for $1,500 and a bottle of Chanel. And don't drink it. I did. Speaking of Italy, for 3,000 pizzas, what city has canals for streets? Stop the tape now. The answer is Venice for $3,000. And that's a lot of lira. Hey, for an extra $2,500, what's the place the Pope calls home? Stop the tape now. Sing hallelujah if you said the Vatican for a heavenly $2,500. This next place is nowhere near heaven. For 3,500 tokens, name the most famous street in Times Square. Stop the tape now. It's 42nd Street, and you'll be dancing to the beat of $3,500. Here's some ladies who also dance to the beat. For 5,000 legs, woo, what theater would you find the Rockettes? Stop the tape now. Stand up and cheer if you said Radio City Music Hall for a boffo $5,000. You know you've really made it to the top if you stand on the roof of these twin buildings. For a high 2,000, what is another name for the Twin Towers? Stop the tape now. It's the World Trade Center for 2,000 big ones. Try this one for size. For 4,500 greens, what is the tallest tribe in Africa? Stop the tape now. Do the Watusi if you said Watusi for 4,500 bucks. Hey, for 3,000 bucks, what is the smallest tribe? Stop the tape now. These tiny guys are pygmies for 3,000 bucks. And don't step on them, they bite. This is someone I would have liked to step on. For 2,000 schnitzels, who was the dictator of Germany? Stop the tape now. It's Mr. Popularity, Adolf Hitler, for a bad $2,000. Here's another charmer, only this one's from France. For 1,500 macaroons, what dictator's last name was Bonaparte? Stop the tape now. No, there is no Melvin Bonaparte. If you said Napoleon, though, take your hand out of your pocket and collect 1,500 rotten apples. You won't need a coat when you visit this warm climate. For 4,500 bucks, what country elected Corazon Aquino as president? Stop the tape now. The answer is the Philippines for a hot 4,500. This next place has a hot name, but cold weather. For 3,000 bucks, where is the land of the midnight sun? Stop the tape now. It's Norway for 3,000 cool ones and all the reindeer meat you can eat. Here's a fellow who would never eat meat. As a matter of fact, he hardly ate at all. For a fast $2,500, what country does Gandhi come from? Stop the tape now. The correct answer is India for $2,500. And for $4,000, what would the fashionable woman wear there? Stop the tape now. It's a sari for 4,000 bucks and a subscription to Vogue. Just kidding. Speaking of things in Vogue, for a $2,000 gift certificate at Gucci's, name the California film capital of the United States. Stop the tape now. Hooray! It's Hollywood for 2,000 smackaroos. And while we're in La La Land, for 1,000 bucks and brunch, what governor of California became president? Stop the tape now. No, Charlton Heston became Moses. The answer is Ronald Reagan for an easy thou. Hey, let's stay in California. For 3,500 bucks, what's its capital? Stop the tape now. Sacramento gets you a golden 3,500. And while we're on the subject of gold, and I don't mean your teeth, for 4,000 greenbacks, what is the famous bridge in San Francisco? Stop the tape now. It's the Golden Gate Bridge for 4,000 bucks. And try not to leave your heart there. Here's a ticker that's not in San Francisco. For 2,000 bucks, what's the famous clock in London? Stop the tape now. Bigfoot is wrong, dummy. It's Big Ben for 2,000 bucks. Here's someone else who's big time. For 3,000 pounds, that's dollars, not your weight. Who is the Prime Minister of England? Stop the tape now. It's Margaret Thatcher for 3,000 bucks, and you'll be rolling in fish and chips. Take the chips and leave the fish at home. And for 5,000 smackers, what is the gambling capital of Europe? Hint City. Princess Stephanie doesn't live in Jersey. Stop the tape now. Hey, Snake Eyes, it's Monte Carlo, and you just rolled a lucky $5,000. Here's a little guy who'll bring you luck for 3,000 in clover. What country would you find leprechauns? Stop the tape now.
Sure, and begorra, it's Ireland, and your pot of gold is worth
3,000 bucks. Hey, pretty good, huh? Thanks. For 2,500 bucks, if you see a man in a plaid skirt and bagpipes walk by, what country would you be in? Stop the tape now. Greenwich Village is not a country. The answer is Scotland for 2,500 kilts. Don't forget to drop your skirt, and while you're changing, for a quick 1,500 bucks, where in London would you find the changing of the guard? Stop the tape now. It's Buckingham Palace for 1,500 bucks, and for another thou, where do they keep the crown jewels? Stop the tape now. They keep the ice in the Tower of London for a shiny grand. Here's a place where they don't speak English. For 3,000 rubles, where is the Kremlin located? Stop the tape now. The answer is Moscow, and you're in the red for 3,000 bucks. Now that you're in, see if you can get out. For 4,500 bucks. What is the wall that separates East and West Germany? Stop the tape now. For a sturdy 4,500, it's the Berlin Wall. And for a giant 5,000 bucks, woo, what wall in China was built in 200 BC? Stop the tape now. It's the Great Wall of China for 5,000 egg rolls and for a powerful 3,500 bucks. What communist leader led the Red Revolution? Stop the tape now. The name is Mao Zedong, and your fortune cookie says collect 3,500 bucks. Hey, for 1,500 bucks, name the revolution that led to the Constitution of the United States. Stop the tape now. Uncle Sam says it's the American Revolution for 1,500 greenbacks. For 2,000 and a date with Betsy Ross, what state is named after the father of our country? Stop the tape now. It's Washington for 2,000 cherry pits. Speaking of the pits, for a greedy 4,000, what Philippine ruling family recently fled to the United States? Stop the tape now. It's the Marcos family for 4,000 bucks and a pair of ladies' shoes. Here's someone else who left quickly. For 2,500 bucks, what president of the United States resigned before he completed his term? Stop the tape now. For 2,500 bucks, let me make this perfectly clear. It's Richard Nixon. Let's go from the White House to another jungle. For 4,000 smackers, name the world's largest river. Stop the tape now. It's the Amazon for 4,000 bucks. Hey, for 3,500 and swimming lessons, what body of water appears in the desert when it really isn't there? Stop the tape now. It's a mirage, and you get 3,500 bucks. Hope it's not an illusion. And now, for $1,500 more, what's the name of a body of water in the desert that is real? Stop the tape now. You'll be belly dancing to the tune of 1,500 bucks if you said Oasis. Hold on to your fig leaves, and for 2,000 bucks, what is the capital of Egypt? Stop the tape now. It's Cairo for 2,000 dates. Won't you be popular? Hey, here's someone else who was popular. See if you can figure it out. For $4,000, name the former Nobel Prize-winning president of Egypt. Stop the tape now. It's Anwar Sadat for a great $4,000. Can't take the heat. For a cool 4,500 bucks, what is the 49th and largest state of America? Stop the tape now. The answer is Alaska for 4,500 bucks, and that's a lot of blubber. Hey, for another 2,000 and free dinner at the fabulous Poi Poi Room, what is the 50th state? Stop the tape now. If you said Delaware, jump into a volcano. It's Hawaii for 2,000 bucks. Speaking of things that erupt, and I don't mean your complexion, for $4,000, what is the famous geyser in Yellowstone National Park? Stop the tape now. It's Old Faithful for a steamy 4,000 bucks. While we're on the subject of hot air, for 3,500, what country is Gaddafi president of? Stop the tape now. It's Libya for an explosive 3,500. Let's leave Gaddafi quickly. And for 2,000 quarts of milk and honey, what Jewish state was established in 1948? Stop the tape now. It's Israel for 2,000 shekels. And for 1,500 more, what is its capital? Stop the tape now. Detroit is not the holy city. It's Jerusalem for 1,500 heavenly dollars. Hey, for 4,500 hubcaps, what is Detroit's major industry? Stop the tape now. For 4,500 bucks and an Edsel, hey, that's what my agent calls me. It's the automobile industry. Step on the gas, we're heading out west. For 3,000 greens, what black fuel is found in the ground in Texas? Stop the tape now. If you said oil, you struck it rich for 3,000 bucks. Hey, for 1,500, what Texas city has the nickname Big D? Stop the tape now. Move over, JR. It's Dallas for 1,500 simoleons. Here's another place you can strike it rich, if you're lucky. For 2,500 silver dollars, what is the gambling paradise in Nevada? Stop the tape now. The answer is Las Vegas for 2,500 bucks and a date with Wayne Newton. Ooh. This next paradise is for the very rich. For 3,500 bucks, what state is Palm Beach in? Stop the tape now. It's Florida for $3,500. Here's one more paradise. If you're a compulsive shopper like me, for 4,500 green stamps, what is the world's largest department store? Stop the tape now. It's Macy's in New York for 4,500 bucks, and that's gift wrapped. Hold on to your plastic. For 5,000 big ones, what is the most widely used credit card in the world? Stop the tape now. If you said Visa, your credit is good for 5,000 bucks. They don't take credit cards in this next place, at least not yet. For 3,500 bucks, who was the first man on the moon? Stop the tape now. Elvis Presley in space? Come on. It's Neil Armstrong for 3,500 saucers. And for 2,000 cups, what spacecraft carrying a teacher met with an unfortunate accident? Stop the tape now. It's the Challenger for 2,000 bucks. While we're up in the sky, for a towering 4,000, what is the world's highest mountain peak? Stop the tape now. The answer is Mount Everest for $4,000, and that's a lot of mud. You'll have to take off your spiked heels to climb this baby. For 1,500 rice cakes, where is Mount Fuji located? Stop the tape now. It's in Japan for 1,500 bucks. And for 2,500, what mountain has 4 U.S. presidents' faces carved on it? Stop the tape now. This pile of rock is Mount Rushmore, and 2,500 bucks is waiting for you at the bottom. Flying overhead is a bald-headed bird. For a soaring $4,500, what is this symbol of the United States of America? Stop the tape now. Don't look up. Oh, it's too late. The answer is the bald eagle for 4,500 bucks and a shower. Speaking of showers, for $5,000, what waterfall is the largest in the world? Stop the tape now. If you said Niagara, we have you over a barrel. It's the Stanley Falls, you big dip, for 5,000 bucks. If you go over in the barrel, say a little prayer. And for 1,000, what is the predominant religion in Utah? Stop the tape now. It's the Mormon religion, and Donnie and Marie want you to have 1,000 bucks. Hey, for $1,500, name Utah's salty capital. Stop the tape now. For $1,500, the capital is Salt Lake City. You'll need a lot of capital in this next place. For 3,500 clams, what East Coast resort features a boardwalk and gambling? Stop the tape now. Hey, Miss America, it's Atlantic City for 3,500 boxes of taffy. For a sweet 4,500, name the city in Pennsylvania that makes chocolate. Stop the tape now. It's my dentist's favorite, Hershey, for 4,500 kisses. You'll get lots of kisses here. For 3,000 breath mints, what is the city of brotherly love? Stop the tape now. Newark is the city of free love, Dumbo. The answer is Philadelphia for $3,000. And for an easy 1,000, name Philadelphia's cracked bell. Stop the tape now. Hey, Ding Dong, it's Liberty Bell. Ring those chimes, you've won 1,000 more. Here's a belle who was First Lady. For $4,000, who was Jimmy Carter's wife? Stop the tape now. Rosalind Carter is his wife for 4,000 Yankee dollars. And for 2,000, who is their little girl? Stop the tape now. The little peanut is Amy Carter for 2,000 smackers. Let's leave the nuts at home and go to the other side of the world. For $3,500, what country is called Down Under? Stop the tape now. Throw another shrimp on the Barbie. It's Australia for $3,500. Hey, Boomerang Brain, for $2,000, what nationality were Australia's original settlers? Stop the tape now. For 2,000 Kiwis, they came from Great Britain. And for an extra 4,000, name the Stone Age inhabitants that lived there. Stop the tape now. The answer is Aborigines for $4,000. And put that in your pouch. Here's an island with only one inhabitant. For a measly 1,000, what island does the Statue of Liberty call home? Stop the tape now. It's Liberty Island for a fat 1,000. Hey, for 2,500, how old was she when she got her facelift? Stop the tape now. 100 years old is the answer. Did you know we had the same plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills? Hey, while we're in Tinseltown, for 4,000 megabucks, what is the large outdoor amphitheater in Hollywood? Stop the tape now. The Grand Canyon doesn't book acts. It's Hollywood Bowl for a well-rounded 4,000. Which reminds me, for $1,500, in what state do we find the Grand Canyon? Stop the tape now. The correct answer is Arizona for $1,500. And for 3,000 more, name its green and prickly state flower. Stop the tape now. Don't get your nose too close. It's the cactus for 3,000 roses. Here's a rose who was mother to a president. For $4,000, who is this New England flower? Stop the tape now. It's Rose Kennedy for 4,000 bouquets. This next woman was no shrinking violet. For 2,000 smackers, who was the female Prime Minister of India? Stop the tape now. Oh, Calcutta, it's Indira Gandhi for 2,000 rupees. This next lady is solid gold for $3,000. Who was this Prime Minister of Israel? Stop the tape now. The answer for 3,000 is gold in my hair, and that's not chopped liver either. Speaking of hearts of gold, here's a fellow who would like to get his hands on one. For 4,000 stitches, what doctor performed the first heart transplant? Stop the tape now. Dr. Seuss can't stand the sight of blood. The man with the beat is Dr. Christian Barnard for a pulsating 4,000. Here's a town with a beat. For $2,500, what city in Tennessee is the country and western capital of the world? Stop the tape now. The city is Nashville for a record-breaking $2,500. Patsy Cline never sang about this place. For a great big 5,000, what is the world's largest nation? Stop the tape now. It's the USSR for $5,000. And for another grand comrade, what does it stand for? Stop the tape now. The answer is the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics for $1,000 and all the borscht you can eat. Sorry. Which reminds me, for a fun-filled $4,000, what mountain range in New York is known as the Borscht Belt? Stop the tape now. The answer, ladies and germs, is the Catskill Mountains for 4,000 matzo balls. Yodelay-hee-hoo. Here's a mountainous area where you won't find Checky Green for a fat $2,500. What is the snow-capped range in Switzerland? Stop the tape now. If you said the Alps for $2,500, play I'm in the Money on the Glockenspiel. Here's a precision instrument you can't play. For $4,000, what timekeepers are the Swiss famous for? Stop the tape now. Hey, cuckoo head, the answer for 4,000 ticks is clocks. And for 1,500 tocks, what is the capital of Switzerland? Stop the tape now. It's Bern for 1,500 popsicles. Let's ski down the slopes and head towards Waltz country. For $3,000, what famous river is in Austria? La 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 la. Hey, stop the tape now. Some set of pipes, huh? Thank you. It's the Danube River for 3,000 sardines. For $2,500, what is the capital of this picturesque country? Stop the tape now. No, it's not Tijuana, Strudelhead. The answer is Vienna for 2,500 Linzer tarts. Speaking of pastry, for a hot 4,000, what country do tacos come from? Stop the tape now. It's Mexico for 4,000 tamales. Hey, hot stuff, for $1,500, what volcano is in the state of Washington? Stop the tape now. Put on your shoes. It's Mount Helena for a steamy $1,500. You can cool your hot feet off in this next place for a roaring $3,500. What is the deepest ocean? Stop the tape now. It's the Pacific for $3,500. And don't make waves, but for $2,000 more, what ocean is half its size? Stop the tape now. The half pint is the Atlantic for 2,000 shrimps. If you can't swim, you can float in this next sea. For $2,000, what is the saltwater sea where you can't sink? Stop the tape now. The answer is the Dead Sea for $2,000, and that'll keep your head above water. Speaking of things above water, for 4,000 lifesavers, what canal is between the Red and the Mediterranean Sea? Stop the tape now. It's the Suez Canal for a monumental 4,000. This monument is above ground. For a tall 2,500, what monument in Washington is named after our first president? Stop the tape now. Hard question, huh? I cannot tell a lie. It's the Washington Monument for $2,500. Here's a memorial that has a Gettysburg Address. For $2,500, what memorial is named after our 16th president? Stop the tape now. The writing's on the wall. It's the Lincoln Memorial for 2,500 greenback dollars. Flip the tape over for the second half of Mr. Game Show's People and Places trivia game. Here's an address that Gigi calls home. For $3,000 and a bathtub of bubbly, what city do we find the Eiffel Tower? Stop the tape now. It's Paris for 3,000 poodles. Now, for $3,500, name this French-speaking city in Canada. Stop the tape now. Send your postcard to Quebec for $3,500. Having a good time? I know I am. For $2,000, name the French festival celebrated in New Orleans. Stop the tape now. If you said Mardi Gras, you'll be dancing in the street for $2,000. If you find yourself dancing in wooden shoes for 1,500 splinters, what country would you be in? Stop the tape now. Hey, blockhead, wake up and smell the tulips. The answer is Netherlands for $1,500. Let's keep partying. For 4,000 cucarachas, what do you hit with a stick at Christmas time in Mexico? Stop the tape now. Whoa, not Santa Claus, you idiot. It's a piñata for a festive 4,000. Let's cha-cha down to South America. For 3,500 casabas, what is the largest country in South America? Stop the tape now. The answer is Brazil for $3,500. And for 5,000, what is its largest export? Hint, hint, Java is not its capital. Stop the tape now. The answer is coffee for 5,000 beans. From coffee, let's go to tea. And for a big 2,500, what is the world's largest continent? Stop the tape now. It's Asia for 2,500 big ones. Hey, stop off for some chop suey. And for 4,000, what is China's capital? Stop the tape now. The answer for 4,000 is Peking. Hey, no fair, Peking. That's the city, not the duck. And hey, for 3,000 more, what's a name for a Chinese knife and fork? Hint City. It's also the first song you learned on the piano. Stop the tape now. It's chopsticks for 3,000 wontons. Got a yen to go to Japan? For a quick 1,000, what is Japan's currency? Stop the tape now. You heard it the first time. It's yen for a thou. Let's stay in Japan, okay? Okay. For 2,000, what city has the largest population in the world? Stop the tape now. Hey, Lotus Blossom, it's Tokyo for 2,000 color TVs. Try this one on for size. For $3,500, what is the traditional gown that is worn in Japan? Stop the tape now. The answer is kimono for a chic 3,500. Speaking of chics, for 4,000, name the country that is ruled by Ayatollah Khomeini. Stop the tape now. No, dummy, Khomeini's never been to Canada. The answer is Iran for 4,000 in sheep dip. Let's try this one now. For 2,000 fig leaves, what fuel is their greatest export? Stop the tape now. The correct answer for a slick 2,000 is oil. While we're talking about oil, let's move to Greece. Get it? Greece? Oil? Okay, I'll shut up. Before it slips away, for $4,500, what is its capital? Stop the tape now. The capital of Greece is Athens for $4,500. Pass the grape leaves, and for 2,000 simoleons, what is the most famous Athenian ruin? Stop the tape now. Telly Savalas is not the right answer, although he does have that icky mole. It's the Acropolis for 2,000 bucks. From Greece, let's slide to Italy. And for 1,500 meatballs, what form of music is Italy most famous for? Stop the tape now. You'll be hitting high C's if you said opera for 1,500 bucks. Did I mention the high seas? Hey, for 3,000 clams, what is the longest river in the United States? P.S. It's also the name of a southern state, sugar. Stop the tape now. The Mississippi is the answer for 3,000 grits. Take a deep breath, and for 5,000 more, what are lakes Superior, Erie, Huron, Ontario, and Michigan better known as? Stop the tape now. It's the Great Lakes for 5,000 bucks, and that's a lot of dough. Which reminds me, for 2,500 bucks, what country does pita bread come from? Stop the tape now. It's Greece for 2,500 crumbs. Here's a place that crumbs are kept. For $3,000, what prison off San Francisco is also known as The Rock? Stop the tape now. You can reach me in care of Alcatraz for 3,000 big ones. And don't forget to leave a saw on the meatloaf. This next address is 221 Baker Street in London. For $4,500, what pipe-smoking English detective would you find there? Stop the tape now. You solved the mystery if you said Sherlock Holmes for $4,500. Let's stay in the land of Shakespeare. And for a royal $3,500, what is the abbey in Westminster where the king and queen are crowned? Stop the tape now. Gee, that was a hard one. It's Westminster Abbey for a smashing 3,500 bucks. You won't find any royalty in this next place. For $4,000, what is the name of underground railroads usually found in large cities? Stop the tape now. Hold on to your bag. It's Subways for $4,000. Here's the choo-choo above ground, and for 2,000 whistles, what train station in New York is the largest in the world? Stop the tape now. All aboard! It's Grand Central for 2,000 bucks. Speaking of aboard, here's one you surf on, and for a groovy 1,500, what state is Big Sur in? Stop the tape now. It's California for a dynamite 1,500 bucks. Here's some dynamite you didn't want to be near. For an explosive $3,000, what Japanese city was hit by an A-bomb during World War II? Stop the tape now. The answer is Hiroshima for 3,000 bucks, which makes this next question mucho important. For 4,500, what peace-loving international organization is located on the East River in New York between 42nd and 48th Streets? Stop the tape now. The correctamundo answer is the United Nations for a harmonious 4,500 bucks. We are the people. Hey, I can dig it. Hey, Peaceniks, for 2,000 bucks, what naval war hero was elected 32nd President of the United States? Stop the tape now. John F. Kennedy got my vote, and you win 2,000 greenbacks. While we're at the polls, for $3,000, name his two senator brothers. Stop the tape now. No. Frank and Joe are the Hardy Boys. Score a touchdown if you said Bobby and Ted for 3,000 big ones. Hey, good looking, for 1,500 clams, what was the name of JFK's wife? Stop the tape now. It's Greek to me. The name is Jacqueline Kennedy for 1,500 bouviers. Let's stay in the social register. And for an instant thousand, in what city do we find Beacon Hill? Stop the tape now. Hey, Blue Blood, it's Boston for 1,000. You couldn't drag a debutante to this next joint. For 3,000 frozen rubles, in what country is Siberia? Stop the tape now. Warm up with a vodka. It's Russia for 3,000 potatoes. Here's some bandits that wouldn't be sent to Siberia. For 2,500 silver dollars, what city in Nevada would you see one-armed bandits? Stop the tape now. Roll those ivories. It's my hometown, Las Vegas, and you beat the house for 2,500 bucks. Speaking of ivories, for a red-hot 3,000, what is the warmest continent in the world? Stop the tape now. The correct answer is Africa for 3,000 bananas. You may get a bang out of this one. For 1,500, what do you call an African hunting trip? Stop the tape now. It's safari for 1,500 bucks. Oy vey, you just shot a missionary, and for 4,000, what African doctor would you take him to? Here's a hint, he's very busy on Halloween. Stop the tape now. It's a witch doctor for a magical 4,000. That old black magic's got me in its spell. And for 3,000, what is the name for African witchcraft? Stop the tape now. It's voodoo, and you do get 3,000. Presto changeo, from tsetse flies, let's move to someplace cool. And for a snowy 2,500, name the largest country in Scandinavia. Stop the tape now. It's Sweden for 2,500 in creamed herring. You'll have to defrost your brain for this one. And for 3,500 shekels, what is Sweden's capital? Stop the tape now. Yeah, it's Stockholm for 3,500 in frozen reindeer meat. Pretty good accent, huh? Hey, here's some frozen meat that talks. For 2,000 smackers, what is the abominable snowman's nickname? Stop the tape now. It's what the shoe salesman called my girlfriend. The answer is Bigfoot for 2,000 bucks. Enjoying your winter wonderland? Good! Hey, for 2,500 flakes, and I don't mean dandruff, which is colder, the North or South Pole? Stop the tape now. It's the South for an nice 2,500 bucks. Here's something else that comes in twos. No, not those. For 5,000 bucks, what are Minneapolis and St. Paul better known as? Stop the tape now. The answer for 5,000 bucks is the Twin Cities. Enough cash to buy a ticket to this lovely spot. Hey, traveler, for $4,000, what U.S. state is last alphabetically? Stop the tape now. Zanzibar is in Africa, dropout. Last but not least is Wyoming for 4,000 big bucks. And before we leave, for another 1,000, what is Wyoming's capital? Stop the tape now. Yahoo! Go get 'em, cowboy. It's Cheyenne for 1,000 bucks and a condo in the prairie. Here's some cowboys called gauchos. For 3,500 Brazil nuts, what part of the world do these daredevils live? Stop the tape now. Olay! It's South America for 3,500 big ones. And that's mucho casho, amigo. Put on your thinking sombreros. This next one's difficulto. For 5,000 bucks, what South American country's language is Portuguese? Stop the tape now. It's Brazil, and you won 5,000 bucks. Everybody conga! Line forms to the left. Hey, conga to the Congo. And for a glittering $2,500, what precious stone is mined in Africa? Stop the tape now. It's a girl's best friend, diamonds. And you struck it rich for 2,500 bucks. Speaking of rich, for $3,000, what company did Henry Ford found? Stop the tape now. If you said Chevrolet, get a horse. The answer for $3,000 is the Ford Motor Company. Hey, big spender, for $2,500, what is the financial district in New York City called? Stop the tape now. You'll be up to your neck in ticker tape if you said Wall Street for $2,500. These poor guys are up to their necks in sand. For $4,500, who are the Arabic tribes that roam the desert? Stop the tape now. The answer is nomads for 4,500 towelettes. Hey, for 1,500, what kind of shelter do they live in? And don't tell me under a camel. Stop the tape now. Holiday Inns are not in the desert. The answer is tents for a smoldering 1,500. These next tribes have never seen a camel. For a heap big 3,000, what are the Apaches and Cherokees? Stop the tape now. They're American Indians for $3,000, and that's a lot of wampum. Here's some Indians who can't wear feathers and loincloths, at least outside. For $3,500, what Indians live in the Arctic? Stop the tape now. Let's rub noses. It's Eskimoses for $3,500. On second thought, I have a cold. You'll need Kleenex when you take this next ride. For 2,000 greenbacks, what animals pull Eskimo sleds? Stop the tape now. Mush! No, I'm not talking about your brains. The correct answer is dogs for a howling $2,000. Speaking of mutts, here's a question about his best friend. For $3,500, what is the highest rank a Boy Scout can reach? Stop the tape now. It's Eagle Scout for 3,500 Girl Scout cookies. Here's another place that's not easy to reach. For 5,000 smackers, what was the first man-made satellite in space? Stop the tape now. A Frisbee is not a satellite, dum-dum. The answer for 5,000 is Sputnik, and that's from Russia with love. Hey, for another 1,000, what kind of government do you find in Russia? Stop the tape now. Communism is the answer if your first name is Nikita and you just won a red-hot grand. Now, for a red-hot 4,500, what is the closest communist country to the United States? Hint City, you can swim there from Miami. Stop the tape now. It's Cuba for 4,500 cigars, and it's not a beach club. Which reminds me, for 3,000 smackaroos, who is its cigar-smoking dictator? Stop the tape now. The man in the beard is Fidel Castro for $3,000. The one in the beard standing next to him is his wife. Speaking of smoking, for $2,500, what volcano in Europe is very much alive? Stop the tape now. It's Mount Vesuvius, and with $2,500, you've got money to burn. Ouch, ouch. Here's someone who'll never get a hot foot. For 1,500 greenbacks, what kind of shoes does the Statue of Liberty wear? Stop the tape now. The correct answer is sandals for $1,500. And for another 2,000, what country did Lady Liberty originally come from? Stop the tape now. Hey, they grow 'em big over there. The correct answer is France for 2,000 eclairs. Here's another place they grow 'em big. For a giant 4,000, what is the Lone Star State? Stop the tape now. Yahoo! Ride him, cowboy. The answer is Texas for 4,000 cow patties. And that ain't no bull. While you're twirling that rope in the air, for 2,500 yellow roses, what do you call a cowboy circus? Stop the tape now. You got the bull by the horns if you said rodeo for 2,500 blue ribbons. Look out for flying cows, and for $3,500, where is the Sea of Tranquility? Stop the tape now. It's on the moon for $3,500 and a dish and spoon. Here's a space cadet who isn't an old cow. For $5,000, what astronaut became a senator from Ohio? Stop the tape now. Why, oh, it's John Glenn, and you just won 5,000 buckaroos. While you're flying high, for 3,500 chicken wings, what country flies Aer Lingus? Stop the tape now. Coffee, tea, or me? The answer is Ireland for 3,500 shamrocks. While you're flying above this country and you hear God Save the Queen for 2,000 tea bags, what country is below? Stop the tape now. It's Great Britain for 2,000 C notes. While we're singing patriotic songs, 101 bottles of beer on the wall is my personal anthem. But for 3,000, what is the national anthem of the United States? Stop the tape now. Stand up and sing the Star-Spangled Banner for a rousing 3,000. Now, for another 2,500 stars and stripes, what are the colors of the American flag? Stop the tape now. Old Betsy made it red, white, and blue for a red hot and blue 2,500. While that flag is blowing in the wind, for $1,500, what is the nickname of Chicago? Stop the tape now. Hold on to your hat, or in some cases your hair, like me. It's the Windy City for $1,500. Don't let it get away. If you chase it, you may end up in this foggy town. And for 4,000 smackaroos, what European city is known for its pea soup fog? And I'm not talking about consommé. Stop the tape now. If you said London, you'll be slurping up $4,000. Let's go from soup to nuts. And here's some families that use their relatives for target practice. For 5,000 crackers, what Southern family feuded with the McCoys? Stop the tape now. Bullseye! It's the Hatfields for $5,000. Take your money and run. Speaking of running, this good old boy made it to the top. For $3,000, who succeeded JFK as president? Stop the tape now. Watch the birdie. The answer is Lyndon Johnson for $3,000 in barbecue sauce. Now, for 2,500 spare ribs, what was Lyndon Johnson famous for holding up by its ears? Stop the tape now. Ladybird is not the answer. For $2,500, it's his pet beagle. Here's a happy sound to your ears. For $2,000, what single word says both hello and goodbye in Hebrew? Stop the tape now. It's shalom for 2,000 macaroons. For another $1,500, what country would you most likely hear it in? Stop the tape now. It's Israel for $1,500. Let's stay in the desert, and for $2,000, what is the name of Israel's communal farm? Stop the tape now. You won't find Old MacDonald at one of these. The answer is kibbutz for $2,000. Shalom Israel, hello America. And for $4,500, in what state would you find Pennsylvania Station? Stop the tape now. Caught ya, huh? The answer to this tricky question is New York for a grand $4,500. Hey, for 5,000 Big Apples, what city in New York State is also known as Gotham? Stop the tape now. I'll take Manhattan, and you can take $5,000. Now, for 1,000 clams, who is the mayor of New York City? Stop the tape now. It's the man with a head that shines, Ed Koch, for $1,000. Look out for the glare. Woo! Speaking of things that glare, for a golden $4,500, what state is called the Sunshine State? Stop the tape now. The answer is Florida for 4,500 orange pits. While you're baking on the beach for a blistering $2,000, what Florida city is also known as Little Havana? Stop the tape now. Turn down the radio. It's Miami Beach for a brain-fried $2,000. You won't hear a radio in this next place unless you're sitting next to the Singing Nun. For $4,000, what is the largest cathedral in the world? Stop the tape now. The answer is St. Peter's for a heavenly $4,000. For a spirited $3,000, name the eternal city St. Peter's is located in. Stop the tape now. If you said Rome, get out the vino for $3,000, and that's mucho macaroni. Now, get out the vodka, and for $2,000, what square is in the center of Moscow? Stop the tape now. No, smart mouth, I've never been to Russia. It's the Red Square for 2,000 kopecks and a fur hat. Here's another angle. For $2,500, what is the airplane-eating triangle that touches base in Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico? Stop the tape now. The answer is the Bermuda Triangle for $2,500. And pass the ketchup. Ketchup doesn't go well with this next dish. Hey, world travelers, for $3,500, where would the natives eat poi and dance the hula? Stop the tape now. No, it's not a bar mitzvah in Beverly Hills. It's Hawaii for $3,500 and a pineapple ring. Hope it doesn't slip off your finger. I'm sorry. Here's a temple that doesn't have bar mitzvahs. For $3,000, where is the Parthenon? Stop the tape now. The ancient temple is in Greece for 3,000 olive branches. And you prayed there to win this. For 2,500 gold medals, what city in Greece held the first modern-day Olympics? Stop the tape now. Light up your torch if you said Athens for a smoky $2,500. While we're toiling in ancient civilization, for $3,500, what is the oldest civilization in the world? Stop the tape now. The answer is China for 3,500 noodles. And I hope you're not losing yours. Now, for a blooming 4,500. No, Smarty, we're not in England again. What kind of blossom blooms in Washington, D.C.? Stop the tape now. It's cherry for $4,500 and a case of hay fever. Hey, these guys never sneeze because they're too tough. For $3,000, what does the FBI stand for? Stop the tape now. If you said Federal Bureau of Investigation, put your hands up and collect $3,000. Hey, for $2,500 and a free wiretap, what Hoover headed the FBI for many years? P.S. It's not a vacuum cleaner. Stop the tape now. He's got an eye on you. It was J. Edgar Hoover for a big fat $2,500. Here's something that has an eye, but only for the stars. No, it's not a movie magazine. For $5,000, what state would you find the giant telescope at Mount Palomar? Stop the tape now. California, here you come, and here I come with 5,000 heavenly dollars. Congratulations, things are looking up. The game is over, but the fun has just begun. Remember, there's lots more Mr. Game Show tapes on lots more subjects, like sports and entertainment, available wherever Mr. Game Show is sold.